back to my university years. When I was at university, I noticed something that to this day really stunned me. And in the work that I do with young people and young adults around the world, I often share this information. Because I remember when I was at university, I noticed that not everyone was working as hard as the other person. There were some people who were working very, very hard. Some people, somewhere in the middle, and some people who were working not so hard. They weren't putting so much effort in. But what was really shocking was that when it came to the grades that people achieved, sometimes you have this idea that whoever works the hardest is going to get the best outcomes. But what I saw was something completely different. And it confused me. I saw that there were some people working very, very hard and didn't get much impact. Some people in the middle, some would do well, some would not do well. And there were some people who were not putting much effort in, and some of them failed. But there were some people who were not putting much effort in, but they were getting incredible outcomes. I repeat, there were some people, they were not putting so much effort in, but they were getting incredible outcomes. And the question then became, why? How would it be possible that someone may not put so much effort in, but they were getting incredible outcomes anyway? How is that possible? So in my 20 plus years of studying personal development, spirituality, Krishna consciousness, I got the answer through the pages of the Bhagavad Gita. I got the answer through that sacred conversation that took place between Krishna and Arjuna. What was the answer? The answer was, I call it the effort to output ratio. I call it the effort to output ratio. What I started to discover in the pages of the Bhagavad Gita, and then what I started to see replicated through all the modern studies, through all the modern research, all the psychometric research, was that when people played to their strengths, when people had taken the time to understand who they are, and had then chosen wisely activities and lifestyle that fit their nature, fit their personality, fit their talents, then even a little effort was able to go a long way. It really struck me that when we look out into modern society, it wasn't that the people who were the highest achievers were always necessarily the people who had worked the hardest. In one sense, you could say it was slightly different. It became clear to me that those who were able to excel externally were not necessarily the people who worked the hardest, but they were definitely the people who worked the smartest. The Bhagavad Gita was teaching me a lesson. It was teaching me that for success in life, we have to know who we are, and we have to choose a lifestyle that is compatible with who we truly are. On two levels, not just one level, on two levels. So, one level, which was what Krishna was speaking to Arjuna about, was the social level. So understanding what kind of person, what kind of personality I have. And that's why even in the modern world right now, those personality assessments, those psychometric tests, companies will spend literally millions, I repeat, literally millions of pounds or dollars to get these psychometric tests done for their staff so that they can understand what are your natural talents, what are your natural skills, what are your natural strengths. Because if we understand that and then we invest in that, if we invest in whatever you're naturally talented in, then that investment that investment can make you world class. I like to think of it this way, that we're not all running the same race. Right? Think about it. For example, I'm gonna use my intuition now. I bet you there are some people in this room who are very good at cooking. Is my intuition correct? Is there someone in the room? Don't be shy about it. If you're good at cooking, there you go. I knew there's some people. If you're good at cooking, raise your hand. Let's just see. Okay. Now isn't that interesting? Think about that. There's some of you who maybe you started doing it when you were very young. You helped your parents. They taught you whatever it is. So not only you may have had some ability or some interest, but then you also invested in it. So think about this as a formula. Talent plus time. Think about that as a formula. So someone has some talent, some ability, plus they spend the time to invest in that talent. Talent plus time could equal amazing outcomes. Amazing outcomes. So what Krishna was telling Arjuna, the first lesson we talked about was to focus on the meaningful. If I want to come closer to my purpose. The second lesson was to know who I am socially. To understand, in the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, Srila Prabhupada, he called it your psycho-physical nature. Every single one of us has a certain personality type. Let me throw this out to you. Raise your hand if you know someone. I know, let's make